Indeed, a lot is happening on the political scene, and joining me on set is my guests, Beatrice Elachi, Member of Parliament, Dagoretti North, Dismas Mukwa, the gentleman sandwiched between the honorable members, political risk analysts, and Mheshimiwa Gloria Oroba, nominated senator. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
No, we've achieved a two-thirds.
We have achieved. We are queried.
This is how it should look like.
I'm endangered.
But he's now endangered.
Okay. You can go for the affirmative seat now.
Okay.
Should run for women.
Imagine how women feel when they are sandwiched by men.
But I'm not complaining. I'm in very good company.
Not be complaining.
Of course.
He should just be focusing on what he needs to say.
What needs to say.
Yeah.
Mheshimiwa Elachi, I'll begin with you. A lot has happened, especially from the churches. We've heard what the Catholic Church has said. The ACK and other clergy members are coming to support, and of course, they did see the activities over the weekend. What do you make about this whole conversation about the church speaking at this point and its effects, and whether is it making sense?
Well, first, yes, it's making sense. But then, secondly, I think the Catholic Church has been very consistent from before the elections to now, so that we cannot blame them that there's anything. I think they're just following through. And I think what is really bringing all this is just the way we have handled SHIF. So if we handled well SHIF, we will not be having this noise with the church. And I think that's the bone of contention, that how do you ensure the implementation of universal healthcare insurance is done in a way that is simple. Every citizen is just able to walk in, register, and that's why everyone keeps on saying, let's go back to NHIF. But they forget, this is an insurance, indeed, if it works, it can really, really change every family and household. My bone of contention, and I've gone to the committee 4 times, I have given statements in Bunge questioning that why is it that we did not start by just registering first people properly before even we go. So they went for the hardwares, they forgot the softwares, are the people who are the users of what they are bringing. And I know we debated until the CEO at one night was just removed. Fine, you've removed the CEO, but you have not solved for us the problem. We are saying, and I thought I said one time here, bring a desk in my constituency, put it in my office. Let every person walk to that desk, be able to go step by step. Because I'll tell you, I sat with them in a committee and we went step by step. We arrived at a point, even me, it was asking me biometrics. I asked them, it means your system does not even detect that I already employed in, somewhere, I am being every month already deducted 27,000 shillings to this. It means I cannot even open and see that my account has now, it's updated and this is what I have. So I told them, so if we have arrived here asking me biometric, so my mama who is in the village, who is supposed to pay 300, we are supposed to ask 20 questions, because I looked at the questions, I asked them, all these questions, surely, and this is a health cover. I told them, this is where we went wrong. You make the president to be bashed for nothing. But the problem is not the president. The problem is you officers who have just refused to make it very simple. A simple system, because data of Kenyans is all over. So when you come and ask me, and yet we even have a census that we did in 2020 what? We did our census 2019.
Yes, 2019.
Yeah, and it was a thorough census until we knew who has a toilet that is of Matope, Babati's house. So why don't you just give me now my SHIF? That is so simple. You ask me where I normally go for my hospitals if I'm one of those who are in chronic diseases and everything.
Yes.
Ask me this. If I'm not earning, you ask me. If I'm renting a house, you ask me, now this system, when you ask, if you say you are renting, it again takes you to pay higher. So I'm asking, so a person who is paying 2,000, how?
How?
No, the system is the problem.
Is the system the problem?
Well, in the
And in
disclosure of
this case,
material information,
yes.
One, I'm Catholic, and I'm very proud to be Catholic, and I'm Kenyan, and I'm very proud to be Kenyan. The Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops, for a long time, they had taken a break from their main role. The statement they issued recently reminds one of Cardinal Tunga and Bishop Ndingi Mwananzeki. Yep. When they called a spade, they didn't care who was in a position of authority. So that makes one very proud that our religious or church leaders have gotten back their mojo. And you must include Bishop Alexander Kipsang Muge. So they made a statement. And then also the reason why I'm proud to be Kenyan, President Ruto admitted for the first time in public that the Catholic bishops have raised fundamental issues that must be addressed. And true to the Kenyan spirit, all other religious leaders have now come in support because they were seated somewhere by the fence, like former President Mwai Kibaki, waiting to see the president's reaction. Upon seeing the president has said that fundamental issues have been raised, all of them have come out like horses and said that they are aligned to the Catholic Church. That makes a lot of sense. Number two, SHIF or SHAF or whatever nicknames people have given these radical reforms is what Kenya has been yearning for the longest time. It's part of the constitution. In other countries like Cuba, it's actually a human right. Even in Kenya, it's a human right. Now, the only challenge we faced is transition management. And in my view, what the relevant authorities would have done is to do a pilot, identify all the pain points so that when they go on the full rollout, then they know the challenges. But again, as with many Kenya Kwanza projects, this project has been a victim of misinformation and disinformation. Because October last year, when the president signed the 4 bills into law, there were many provisions. Like, for instance, if you get an emergency today, if you're within the Kenyan territory, you'll go to any hospital and you'll be treated. But the architects of misinformation and disinformation have been lying all over town that you are not going to get the treatment. So in my view, again, it goes back to the Kenya Kwanza that they've successfully failed in executing communication strategies, that they are doing very good projects. And it's as if, like for instance, if you're in a cocktail party, you see a beautiful girl and you're winking at her, but it's in the dark. Nobody will know what you are doing. So Kenya Kwanza is doing amazing stuff. They're not communicating to Kenyans. And it's a tragedy that since we attained independence, Kenya Kwanza has got the highest number of communication directors. One wonders what they are doing. When you have signature Kenya Kwanza events coming up, the government spokesman speaks in a very condescending manner. The other people who've been appointed have no idea of these projects. So you begin to wonder, do these people understand that communication is a key plank in any political process?
And Mheshimiwa Gloria, after that statement by the Catholic bishops, all of a sudden there was a lot, every department was releasing statements. And even they got on...
It was competition.
Yes. And then they even got on the bandwagon. You've seen those very interesting cartoons and those animations. And they also jumped on it, they rode on it. I mean, did it have to take a pointing finger for this to happen?
First, full disclosure, I'm a Christian.
Yes.
I do not like going down to denominations. I was raised Seventh-day Adventist. I've been in between Pentecostal and Baptist. But I always say your religion is between you and your God. Because after all, even these churches, where 2 or more, this is a church, where 2 or more are gathered, we are already in church. My issue with particularly religious leaders is that they are seasonal. They are seasonal. And, it is like at one point in this country, there were no religious leaders. It was quiet. People would do whatever they are doing. When women are being killed and there's femicide, I don't see religious leaders coming out to talk about the women being killed. So it's almost as if that is okay in the Bible, kill women. So they pick particular issues, and I'm like, I have a problem with that, because if you are going to be an active citizen in form of a religious leader who's going to criticize whatever it is based on the values that you believe in and the religious context, then just give us Monday to Monday criticism. You know what I mean? don't give us a Christmas criticism and then you disappear and then you come back. That's my biggest issue. And then, you know, another culture that you have seen, I think this has been brought about by the, I don't know, let's call it wokeness of people or social media, is that everyone is a critic, yeah? We criticize. So, for instance, maybe George, you've come up with something. I'm so quick to criticize, but if I ask you, okay, what solution could you give? What would you rather do? For instance, one of the things that I should point out with that we had a problem with SHIF was that for you to go to a level 4, level 5, you had to come from a clinic or somewhere where you are referred, right? And the problem in situations such as Mama Lucy or Pumwani is that you have a medical emergency, you are probably going into premature labor, as you are seeing, I'm sitting here very pregnant. And then you show up in Mama Lucy and they tell you, okay, for this shift to work, you have to go back to a clinic or, you know, the dispensary so that they can refer you. Now, those dispensaries are not open 24 hours. When that issue came about, what I liked about legislators, they said, this is nonsense. Let's amend this. Let's take it back very quickly to the floor of the House because this doesn't make sense, right? But you have Kenyans who wake up, they just criticize. But what if they don't have, they don't, you know, what you call yourself an active citizen, kudos, we are clapping. But you can't be actively criticizing without giving an alternative or at least guide us. You know, for those who you're calling foolish and stupid in that government, right? Because sometimes you're saying we must listen, but what are we listening to? Criticism that is just saying SHIF is not working and that's it. Okay, go back to NHIF. Do we really want to go back to NHIF? Because I have used NHIF. And honestly speaking, aside from Didma saying that we have successfully, what did you just say?
Failed in communication.
We have successfully, despite having the most communication officers, we have successfully failed in communication. I just want to ask Kenyans sometimes, because I am not on social media a lot, but sometimes once in a while people send me screenshots and someone says, SHIF is not working, let's go back to NHIF. When I remember the issues we had in NHIF and the minimum basic services that we were providing, I don't think that is the way. I think the way is, this SHIF is not working, why? Let us try and figure it out, because when I look at the packages that you have in SHIF compared to the packages you have in NHIF, honestly speaking, from a salesman perspective, I would rather sit on the SHIF. But for me, religious leaders, no, it's not only Christmas time. Be a religious leader Monday to Monday, all season, all year round, and offer solutions.
This must hold that thought, because we need to take
I'm doing press-ups.
Yes, we'll do press-ups. We'll release them when we come back after this break, even as we stand by to have that conversation with Fred Njehu, a Pan-African political strategist at Greenpeace Africa. He'll be joining us from Baku, Azerbaijan, to discuss